Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we're looking at Strike Force Agastus, the new box full of miniatures for the Space Marines for Warhammer 40,000. So first of all, I want to say a massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending us a free early review copy to have a look at. This box has got a lot of people excited because it is mostly filled with brand new units for the Space Marines that we haven't seen before, which is pretty cool. So let's flip this open first and have a look at the back. So inside we've got the new Brutalis Dreadnought, which is a new kind of close combat variant of the Dreadnought, very much like the Blood Angel variant that they had back in the day. We also get a unit of Heavy Intercessors. We've seen them before, no biggies, but they're still pretty cool. We get a brand new multi-part Primaris Lieutenant with a load of different weapon options, and we get the unit of Desolation Marines. So they are kind of rocket-toting, heavy Space Marines. Interested to see what the rules are like for them, because obviously Devastators aren't a thing we've got with the Primaris. We've got the Hellblasters, who are obviously very plasma-based, but these guys are obviously more missile-based. So yeah, it'd be cool to see what all these look like. So in this video, what we'll be doing is going through the kits, we'll be having a look at the rules for these units, and yeah, seeing how all these go together, and hopefully we'll have a couple painted up to show you what they look like. Unfortunately, this box has come quite late, in comparison to when we normally get things, so unfortunately we might not be able to get them all painted, but we at least want to get them built up, and at the end of the video we'll show you what they look like. So without further ado, let's crack this open and have a look at what's inside. So fairly slimline box. I believe this is £120, but it has got a fair few kits in there. So first of all, let's chuck the bases out of the way and we'll have a look at the new Lieutenant first. So if we zoom in a little bit, we'll have a look at the sprues for this guy. So obviously we've had a lot of lieutenants released over the years, and this one is a multi-part one, similar to the captain that they did last year. So you've got a different range of different weapon options. It also means that that profile that's in the book could well represent any of the existing lieutenants that you've got. So that's pretty handy. But yeah, pretty cool. What's interesting on these, the sprues are stamped 2022, so I do wonder if these models were meant to come out a bit earlier than they did. So next up we've got the new Desolation Marines. These are the new kind of heavy support guys with rocket launchers. You get 2 frames of these. They're both identical frames, each builds 5 models, so you get 10 in total in the box. And yeah, these guys are packing some serious weaponry. They look pretty cool. It looks like there's a few different builds of the guns. They've got the main assembly there, and then there's different bits that kind of stick on them, I think, to represent the different kind of weapon options that they've got. I believe that they've got kind of frag and crack options available to them. But yeah, these look really nice. I do wonder if we'll see any more different heavy weapon variants as we go into what is probably going to happen this summer, the next edition of the game. And I wonder if all these Space Marine releases are a bit of a precursor to that, and maybe a sign of other units that we might see in the future. So they're really nice. Looking forward to seeing what they look like built up. The one a lot of people are excited about is the new Brutalis Dreadnought. So I wasn't sure if this was going to be a upgrade frame for the existing one, but no, it looks like it is a brand new kit. All the sprues are stamped 2022 as well, like the other ones. So if we take a look at this, it's obviously a close combat variant. I think you've got an option of giving it a traditional power fist or claws, and then there's differences in the rules representing them as well. So later on in the video we'll be having a look through the rules for these and seeing what they do. But yeah, it looks a really nice kit. I mean, I like Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are kind of a classic, iconic Space Marine unit. If we look at the other frame for this one too, obviously it looks very similar to other recent Dreadnoughts that we've had. So similar kind of style. There's nothing too kind of outlandishly crazy on here. I think it's quite poseable as well. We will see in the assembly instructions in a little bit, but it's got you can kind of a pin in the torso that kind of locks it in place, but you can remove that to give it more kind of pivot to how it moves. But yeah, we'll check out that when we get to the assembly instructions. But yeah, really, really nice kits. And like we mentioned earlier, you also get a unit of Heavy Intercessors too. we don't look at these too much. These are the same sprue that you can currently get. Really good unit. Nice thing to have in the box there to kind of reinforce the other bits. So if we move that out of the way, obviously it's not just plastic that we get in the box though. So we'll leave this little flap open there, and we get the kind of instructions, the rules and kind of some lore on them there, and then the assembly instructions. You also get 2 sheets of Ultramarines transfers. Unfortunately there's no like other chapters available, but I'm sure lots of people have got transfers squirreled away to allow you to do that. So what we'll do first is have a quick look at the assembly instructions and see how these guys go together. Because like I say, there's quite a few options on these. Like with other recent manuals, you've also got a little guide there showing you the base sizes, which I find really useful. But yeah, going through, we've got the Lieutenant first, and obviously we've got a lot of different weapons for him, which is really cool, and you could potentially use those parts on other kits as well to make some conversions. A couple of head options, and again, I suspect it'd be fairly easy to use some parts in your collection to customise this guy a bit further. Heavy Intercessors we've seen before, so we'll skip through those guys. They're fairly straightforward to build. The Brutalis Dreadnought seems to go together much like any other Dreadnought. When we get to the next page though, we'll see we've got an option for the weapons, so you can build it with like Power Fist or Claws. So just make sure you kind of have decided which you want to go for when you're building it. Obviously from a rules point of view they will be different. I like the Claws, but you lose out on the bolters. I think they're going to be better though, because you've got other things to shoot. This thing's job is to run up and punch things to death. So yeah, really cool. So again, very similar assembly to other Dreadnoughts that we've seen, and yeah, pin there to give it quite a lot of manoeuvrability on the torso as well. So you can probably get some quite dramatic poses with it, which is cool. And then finally, we've got the instructions for the Desolation Squad. I know a lot of people have kind of made fun of the guns on these, called them overcompensators, but they do look pretty cool actually. Yeah. So again, we've got a few different options for the actual missile pods themselves. I think there's a few different options within the book to choose the kind of ammo that they carry. So perhaps you can represent that with the different kind of flaps on the kind of rocket bays. But I think really this is just going to be for looks. It's going to be on your roster what they're armed with. I don't think there's anything in the book that says this specifically is a frag missile, this one's a crack missile. So I think you're free to kind of use your own imagination on that, which is pretty fun. But yeah, these guys look fun. I'm looking forward to building some of these and spraying them up. So yeah, so that's all of the miniatures content in the box. We also get the Strike Force Agastus kind of supplement. So in here we get basically some new lore and background on the various units that we've seen revealed here, framed around a fight with the orcs, which is cool. So if we have a quick flick through here, and this is kind of like I guess it's a themed kind of force in the box. So narratively, this kind of strike team has gone down to a planet, and within the book we find out about them. So that's pretty fun. Obviously they're painted up as Ultramarines there, but there's no Ultramarine kind of embossed details on these models. So you're free to paint them up as any chapter. I'm sure most people will be looking to add some new bits to their Space Marine collection as well. For example, they've got a nice Imperial Fist one there. And I think, you can see already there, you've got 3 different builds from that same model. If you kind of raid your bits collection or use some of the kind of Primaris upgrade frames, you can probably get some quite unique models done with this, which is cool. I've got to say, the Dread does look very good in red. It fits the Blood Angels quite well. So, flip ahead through here. We get a bit of narrative about the kind of the strike force on the planet, but then we get the full rules and points for all the stuff in the box. So we basically get a brand new Primaris Lieutenant profile, Obviously we've seen other ones in the past. This one allows you to swap out the weapons. You've got a bit more choice on that, and that's represented in the points values as well. So yeah, you've got a lot of freedom on what you do with this guy, and I suspect that if you've got any of the various limited Primaris Lieutenants that they've released over the years, you'll be able to put something together using this new data sheet, which is pretty cool. It's also got the points for the other units, so the Heavy Intercessors are included on there. They haven't changed at all. We've got the Brutalis Dreadnought. There's 170 points, with 15 points if you want to give them multi-melters. And then the Desolation Squad are 35 points per model. And the Vangor launcher is an extra 10 points. We'll see what that does in a little bit. So let's check out what these guys do. So Heavy Intercessors we're not going to look at because we've all seen what those guys do. But the Brutalis Dreadnought looks pretty cool. So it looks like, you know, fairly standard kind of Dreadnought kind of profile. So 3/3, strength 7, toughness 7, 13 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 8 and 3+ save. It comes with a twin Icarus Ironhull heavy stubber, 2 heavy bolters, 2 twin bolt rifles and 2 Brutalis fists. So the Brutalis fists are strength ×2, AP -3 and D3 +3 damage. You can upgrade them, however, to the Brutalis Talons. You lose the twin bolt rifles if you do that, but I think the trade-off's pretty good. It's got 2 profiles. The first one is strength ×2, AP -4, D3 +3 damage. Every time an attack's made, you get to reroll the wound roll, which is very good. And then you've also got a sweep attack, so you make 2 attacks instead of 1 if you want to try and thin out some infantry or something. So that's pretty cool. It's still got the reduced damage by 1 rule, and it still explodes. So yeah, I quite like him. I think he's going to be pretty cool in combat. Personally, I think I'd give him the Talons. Just gives me a bit more punch and damage. Extra pip of AP, and that reroll to wound can be quite useful if you try to crack open a tank or something. So yeah, he looks pretty nice. And then we have got the Desolation Squad. So these guys, again, standard kind of Space Marine stat line on them. It's all about the weapons. So standard, they come with the Super Frag rocket launchers, but you can swap them out for the Super Crack rocket launchers. I don't think it costs any additional points to do so. Obviously the Super Frag is heavy, D3 +3, strength 4, AP -1, 1 damage, and blast. And the Super Crack rocket launcher is heavy 1, strength 8, AP -3, damage D3 +3. So a unit of 10 of these could do quite a lot of damage to tanks and the like with them, which is pretty cool. The leader, you can also give the Vangor launcher, which is heavy D6, strength 6, AP -1, 2 damage, blast, and it can target units that are not visible to the bearer, which is pretty cool. They've also got targeter optics, so each time the bearer makes a ranged attack with a heavy weapon, add 1 to that attack's hit roll, which is really cool. And he gets that in conjunction with the launcher, so that's just on the squad leader. Interestingly, they've got a special rule that basically allows you to pick 1 model in the unit, and that model gets ballistic skill of 2+, which is an unusual rule, but that's quite cool. If, I don't know, say you wanted 1 Super Crack rocket to go into something that needed to die while the rest of the unit was shooting at something else, you could designate him to be hitting on 2s. So yeah, interesting squad. I quite like them. Obviously we've got echoes of kind of Heresy era units where we've all got the same weapon. That's something that we've seen with the Primaris Marines in general. I do like the rocket launchers. I'd quite like them to be able to pick between the 2 firing modes, but it looks like you've got to pick which ammo they're kind of armed with at the start of the game. So yeah, let's look at the new kind of units out of the book. So what we're going to do now is skip ahead to the future, and we'll have a look at the assembled and hopefully painted models. So before we close out the video, we did manage to get a couple of things built from the box. Like I said at the start, unfortunately this came a little bit late for us to get all the contents built and painted up, unfortunately. But we have made a start on them. So first of all, let's have a look at the Brutalis Dreadnought. Jay has built this up for his Blood Angels, and it is a really, really nice looking Dreadnought. Obviously it is very reminiscent of the Furioso Dreadnought, being a close combat specialist dread, but it looks really, really cool. Quite poseable, as you can see, with a bit of a stomping pose to it. Jay's also left the kind of turret on the top separate, and the arms are just kind of twisted in as well, which might make it a little bit easier to paint it up. But yeah, really, really like this. There's a few different weapon options too that you can swap out on the fists. Now I don't know if it'd be possible to maybe magnetise the fists so you could switch between the different options maybe. But yeah, what we'll do over on the website, spruesandbrews.com, once Jay's got this painted up, we'll have some images of it on there alongside the rest of the box. David has also been working on the new rocket guys, and he has got a little tester model painted up for them. I've got to say, in the flesh, these models are a lot nicer than I originally kind of gave them credit for. The missile launchers are a little bit big, but they look really nice. I do quite like these. I might have to get some to add to my Iron Ravens. So yeah, so Dave's done a bit of a tester piece there, ready to try those out, and he'll be working on some Dark Angels soon too, so look forward to seeing what he does with them. So yeah, like I say, all this will be on the website as well, where we've got pictures of the sprues, and we're going to have all the unit stats on there as well, so check that out over on spruesandbrews.com. Once again, massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending these over, and thanks for watching the video. If you have enjoyed it, we do more unboxings and battle reports and painting streams and all that cool stuff, so why not give us a follow if you're into that kind of stuff. And yeah, we'll be doing some cool Crusade content in the near future as well. We've got a Crusade campaign. Episode 1 is filmed and should be up on the website in the next week or two. And then yeah, following that, we'll be leaning into narrative gaming and doing some cool missions. So hopefully some of the models out of this box will appear during the course of the campaign too. But yeah, until next time, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.